Welcome back to the Museum Roadshow. We're talking more about Shoreham.
There used to be a pavilion attached to that side of the building, and that, I know they had a roller rink in there at one time. It was used as a child babysitting type place at one time, and I don't think they were doing a lot of business out of here. But the building remained, and it's a little fuzzy about exactly what was going on here after it wasn't used as a hotel anymore, up until the 1950s, when I was around and remember that there was a couple in here called Muzzy and Candy Jim Campbell, and they were quite colorful people that ran a drive-in restaurant with a car hop, which was Donna. She still lives in Detroit Lakes now, but they served real hamburgers on a real stove, real French fries and stuff out of the window, or you went as a car hop. Now they were here until about 64, I would say. They sold out to the Fishers. And Ed Fisher was his name, and he came from North Dakota, I believe, and I think he wanted to have a little resort, and he was the one that rented these apartments that had been put into here. There was living quarters where the kitchen is today, and this room we're sitting in was an apartment, like a 2-bedroom, self-sufficient cooking stove, refrigerator, and so on. And then also in the bar area, there was another apartment, along with the 3 cabins that were on the lake down here. So he had a 5-cottage, ma-pa type resort. And he didn't run the kitchen like Muzzy and Candy Jim did. He took out the kitchen equipment, like a griddle and French fryers, which of course were a little bit more work to operate and maintain. They were selling only frozen sandwiches out the window, with a car hop and picnic tables out front and so on. So they weren't doing a lot of traffic, you know, but they seemed to be happy here doing what they're doing. They had friends and relatives that come and stay in the cabins here and rent his, cabins during the summer. Well, in the summer of 1974, Tom and I, my brother, were operating our first restaurant, pizza beer joint, across the street, which was my mother's old general store, which her dad had started, and which contained the post office of Shoreham. When the post office started, I don't know, but they took it out in 1955. My mother ran that grocery store for 34 years. And also my grandfather had the Shoreham Standard gasoline station, and he rented that out to various people. Now sometimes I see retired doctors from Fargo come down here and eat, and they'll say, "Yep, I ran that Shoreham Standard back in '51." So there's a lot of history to that little gas station and grocery store. Well, as my brother and I got older, my mother grew tired and older of running the grocery store, and she closed it up in probably the fall of 1965. And I graduated from high school in 1966, off to college, and came back here, and we were running, we started the Shoreham, which we called the store. There was pizza and beer. Tom and I started that in 1971. And our friend Dan Gunderson, who purchased the hotel with us, was running our filling station that year. He'd graduated from college, and he must have stared all summer long at that for sale sign out in front of this place. So in August that year of '74, he came to Tom and I, he said, "Let's buy that old Hotel Shoreham and start another restaurant." So we ended up doing that, exactly that. So that fall of '74, we came in here and said, well, it's apartments, which we knew when we bought it. So we spent the entire winter living in here, the 3 of us, and reverted it back to the way you see it today, which is now 35 years ago. And I hope that when I'm gone out of here, that it'll continue to be a restaurant and local watering hole for the locals. The last thing the people out here want to see is this bulldoze for a house or a fancy cabin on the lake. Other than the Hotel Shoreham, the other original building still out here is the church across the street. And I think it's the Hattie Goodman Chapel, which they still have services there today. I believe the building was built in 1903, making it a little older than the hotel. And they have interdenominational services over there from mid-June until maybe the 3rd weekend in August. And they have very good attendance. They have quite a social thing too, with cookies and coffees and and BSing out in front before and after the service. The building that was my grandfather's and my mother's grocery store for many years actually faced the church. Years ago, I remember it back in the 50s or maybe early 60s that the other grocery store across the street were in competition. So she felt that she had to move her grocery store that used to face the church to face the west. And then she did some blacktopping and landscaping to kind of dress it all up in hopes of getting more business than her competitor across the street, which it was before Conrad Ohm. I'm not sure who ran it before that. But today, we closed the pizza shop down in about 1987 as we were running competing places across the street with paying double insurance and workman's comp. And so it was a business move for us to close that building down and purchase the property that's in front of the hotel now, that's along the river here, and we moved our pizza operation over to here. But the building sat only for storage for us for some time. But a few years back, some young, energetic boys came in and were going to start a landscaping company or lake service, mowing and cleaning beaches and so on. So they stuck some money into the building and proceeded to go broke. And now the building was in pretty good repair, and so I leased it now to the Peggery. Or as I referred to it before, the old Standard Station is still over there. When they took the pumps and the tanks out in the early 60s, because the EPA thought it was polluting, and the owner of the bulk service here in town, Val Seberg, at the time couldn't see putting new pumps and tanks in there. I don't blame him. It wouldn't have been cost prohibitive to do it. So there again, that building turned into a storage unit for a while. I think there was some small businesses tried over the years, girls selling embroidery and trinkets and this and that, and nothing ever panned out. So until the Lake Association came to me and wanted to rent it as their office, and I've been in there now for the last 3 to 5 years. The Lake Association has had the building, and they're open on weekends to pass out their directories and answer questions to the members of the Lake Association. So that's been real successful now. So Shoreham is humming again.
Thank you for watching the Museum Roadshow. Remember, on TV3, history repeats itself every 4 hours. This is Roger Engstrom signing off until next time. See you then.